All right. Good evening, everyone. So, let's see. What have I got here? Got my Elegoo Smart Robot. I guess it's a robot car. It's kind of fun to play with. I'm really enjoying messing around with this little thing. So, it's got some basic features, and I want to go over how to program some of those things. It's really, at its heart, it's really just a basic Arduino system. Right there, that this bottom board is our Arduino heart, and everything else just kind of piggybacks off of that. So let's see. So we've got, we got a bunch of instructions that came with this kit, and I'm gonna go and mess around with them. But first, I wanted to show what you can actually do with this right out of the box. So let me go and get this. They provide this this little app you can use with your phone, and I really wish I had figured out a better way to mount my camera. But Elegoo provides this app for your phone, so to go and control this thing. So all you have to do is turn on your robot, and then hit, let's see, load up the app. Hit like rocker control. Yes, I would like to connect my device. It says it will be connected by Bluetooth. You've got a little Bluetooth module here, and we're ready. So I've got it on an egg crate here so it doesn't run off from me, and I can control it using this Bluetooth app. Let's see, and I could probably actually set it down on my... The control is actually pretty good, so I should be able to control it without it completely falling off my desk. See? Got pretty fine-grained control over this. Oh, and I lost connection. That's alright. I just wanted to show that. I thought that was really cool. Likewise, I've got this little remote control here, and I can also control it this way. But this doesn't seem to work quite as well as the app. Not exactly sure why. Maybe it's some kind of response thing. But you can see, well, maybe you can't. There you go. You've got this little infrared sensor here, right on this top board. That's where my thumb is. And you hit a button, and it moves forward. Moves to the right, moves to the left. But let me show you why this doesn't work so well. So take it off the egg crate here, hit right, and it does a 180. That is a little too much to be really useful. Hit right again, does a little more than a 180. Left, well, that was more like a 270. That's not really very useful. So I'm not going to be using this very much. But this does also provide a good way to just initiate a couple modes. So there's a line following mode if you hit number 1, and a object avoidance mode if you hit number 2. So let me see if I can try this line following mode. So there's this tape, electrical tape that they provided. And the line following mode will use these sensors on the bottom. And you see, oh yeah, that's interesting. So if you hit, let's say, I guess if you use your thumb here to reflect the red light off of the from the LED, you can see the LED actually turns off. So it's actually sensing where my thumb is, and so it would sense where the tape is. So let's try that. Tape is being a little stubborn here. Come on. Okay, maybe not. That's all right. But let's see. I think my microphone's blowing out here. That's probably a little better. All right. But let's see. So the line avoidance mode would work with the hit of button 1, but I don't think that's going to It's not going to work right now. Let's try. I got to reset this. Oh, it provides a nice reset button here, so I can restart this. Let's try the object avoidance mode and see what that does. Well, it's obviously not avoiding any objects. Oh. Yeah, maybe that's better done where you got some nice walls for it to work. But basically that uses this infrared, or not infrared, ultrasonic sensor here to do some range finding and to go and figure out, and then uses the servo to rotate the sensor to make sure that it can drive forward or back or safely. Or rotate if it needs to. So it's kind of like a Roomba. All right, so let's go and take a look at some of these, some of the stuff that comes with this thing about how to program it. So I've got some boring old PDFs. We don't need this junk. Actually, we kind of do. So if you want to actually set this thing up so you can actually program it, you gotta kind of follow this lesson 0. So they provide a number of PDFs and a number of lessons, and so you gotta download the Arduino IDE. Boring. Yeah, but you got to install it. Pretty straightforward. And in order to actually program it, you actually have to remove this Bluetooth module. So you probably should turn it off first. See, the USB connection and the Bluetooth connection actually go over the same wires. So they interfere with each other. So they tell you to remove them. So let me show you what that looks like. And I'll just go and see. I've removed the this Bluetooth module, and it's safe to remove it. It's not really needed until it's the code calls it. So just remove it. And going back to our documentation here, it just needs to be set up correctly. So I'm going to. And it just goes through. This is actually very good documentation saying that if you run into some issues, that here are how ways to get around some of those issues. And blah, 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 boring. But important. So let's see. So lesson 1, how do we make this car do something interesting? Let's make the car move. So I should probably, so let's see. So now we just need to, oh, there's a nice picture of the car. But we basically just need to, I mean, it's going over the different parts here. So it's really nice that they go and broke down exactly what all these things are. Like I said, here's the Bluetooth module, infrared receiver, there's an I/O expansion board, ultrasonic sensor. Yeah, you can look at this later if you're interested. But the idea here is we want to be able to upload a program. And so one of the important things here is to figure out how to make the car move. With these things, they've got a pin. It looks like they've got a pin for each side. And that is going to allow you to decide, what moves. And we're going to just try and create that basic program. So they provided some nice programs for us to do. So here we're going to load up that program. Let me go over here and find, that's not the right program. Let's find the right program. So I'm looking for my Smart Robot. English would be good. And they want to start with the right wheel rotation. Let's just prove that we can turn the right wheels. Oops, there we go. So let's just take a look at this program, and actually, you know what? Let's not even take a look at the program. Let's just program it. So what I'm gonna do, so if you went through, I've done this stuff a couple times before, so hopefully this should not fail on me. But if you haven't, you got to follow the instructions. And then what the instructions are going to tell you, take this USB printer cable and plug it in the side of your robot. Hopefully it'll connect. My computer just made the dinging sound that shows that it connected. And let's see. So you should be able to see that we are an Arduino Uno. It should be configured to use, I think this should be COM8. Get board info. Oh, I guess that's fine. And let's see, the programmer, I think they were using an AVR ISP Mark II, and that should be fine. So let's try this. So here's our upload button. It's compiling. Oh wait. Oops, I had the wrong screen on. Let me try this again. So we got to go to our Arduino screen. Make sure that our board is set up correctly as an Arduino Uno. Make sure the port is set up correctly. I've got multiple ports listed here, but I think COM8 is correct. And the programmer, I've got it set as AVR ISP Mark II, and I think that is correct as well. So let's upload this again. It's got to compile it. It's got to make sure there's enough space, and it tells you this nice little message at the bottom saying it's done and the amount of space it used up. So now I can go and show you what this program does. I can unplug the programmer here and restart my Arduino. And that's what the program does. It just spins the right wheels back and forth. So let's take a look at how that works. So, programming is really, at this stage, this kind of programming is really straightforward. You can ignore a lot of the stuff that's on the screen here. The idea here is really just that you've got a bunch of steps that are being given to the robot for it to do. Some basic things when you program. Often, like this is often a double / is just a comment. It doesn't mean anything. It's just for humans. It's by humans for humans. It's not for the computer. It doesn't affect anything that happens on your robot or on your program. So we're gonna ignore some of this stuff right here, and we're just gonna go down here. Now, Arduino is great because it lets you just set up your make your program as two groups of code. There's a setup group of code, and there's a loop group of code. And what the setup side does is it just tells you that it's run once when you turn on the power, and that's it. It's just for setup. You can abuse it or use it however you like, really, but in this context, it should really just be used once for setup because that's what people will expect it to do. Then you have a second section that's called loop. And there's a good reason it's called loop, because the code runs all the time, again and again and again and again and again. And it doesn't stop, ever, because there's no reason for it to stop and there's no way for it to stop. Unless you kill the power. And that's fine. That's what we want. We want this program to run so we can continue responding to anything that happens in the environment. We want it to run to ensure that we can go and keep doing the mission of the robot. So in this case, what do we got going on here? To actually run this stuff, we have to set it up correctly. So in our case, we need to set up a number of pins as output pins. So there's a pin that was in this program. They called it an IN3 pin, an IN4 pin, and an ENB pin. I guess that's, let's see. So this setup just wants to make them all as outputs. This is kind of a thing that's specific to Arduino. It's going to set up, it's got a number of pins, and you can set up them in a number of different ways. And in this case, we're setting them up as outputs. And then we're going to enable the write motor by turning it on. So this digital write will basically send information out this ENB pin. So now in the loop, you saw what it did, right? You saw the robot just spin its right wheels forward, spin its right wheels backwards, and then do this over and over and over again. So this is how it did it. It's basically said, make this pin, this IN3 pin, go low, and IN4 pin go high. And then make the IN3 pin go, then make IN4 go low again, and that meant stop it. And then, let's see. So, and it just kind of repeats this over and over again. So what it's really doing is, let's see. So these are pins, let's see. Okay. So these are actual pins on here. You know, let me take this. No, I can't take that off. Okay. So these pins are actually on here, and they're all labeled. So let's see if I can show this properly. All right. So we've got pin, IN3 is pin 9. That's down here. And that IN4 pin is pin 11. That's down here. So they're both set up to go and communicate to those right motors. So then we have that ENB pin, which is right here. And so when we go and do that digital write call, what that does is it gives you enough, it changes whether electricity is coming in or coming out of those pins. So if I say write, so I made them output pins, and so that means that I can produce electricity from them, and that means that then I can I'm using digital write to change whether they're producing electricity or not producing electricity. And that's how it's communicating with that controller down at the bottom. So that's all really kind of like low level and detailed, isn't it? But the idea there is also that as a programmer, you can kind of simplify some of the stuff in your head. So let's go back to our code here, and let's simplify this. The idea is that we can kind of just ignore this stuff. This is all just set up, and then once we get down here, this is how you make the wheels turn. You can go and write to, let's see, you really just need to, if you want to make the wheels turn forward, you do a digital write to IN3 and make it low, and a digital write to IN4 and make it high. So this code will make the wheels go forward. And this code will make them go backward. And then this one will stop them. So it's let's see. Yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Let's see. All right, let's load up another program and see what happens. Oop. So we can make another, let's see, another side, do the other side run, and it kind of does the same thing. So let's go and use this program. All right, uploaded. Go here, unplug it, give it some power. And they coded it to be very similar. So that's kind of they've used a different set of pins that time. They're using pins 7 and 8 and 5. So let's see. So let's see, when we, let's see. So let's try a different program. So let's see. So we've got a bunch of, let's see. So this one is going to kind of do something similar, except that it's going to drive both wheels. So let's try that one. I'll plug in my programming cable. Hit upload. All right, done uploading. And let's see what we get. Now it's driving both sides back and forth. So so that's all very good and stuff. But as a programmer, you generally want to try and simplify things. So what they started to do with, what we could do with this code here is kind of, we call it like abstraction. So what you can do is, in programming, is you can create kind of a block of code. And every block of code is going to let you do something different. So we've got our usual setup and loop sections, but you see that they've gone and gotten rid of a lot of the little calls here. So what they did was say, okay, I'm going to still go forward, back. I'm going to do different stuff, but I'm going to simplify and say, instead of doing all those little methods, I'm going to say go forward, delay for a bit, go back, delay for a bit, and it's very straightforward here, I see. The idea here is that it's just using standardized code. So when you actually get to this step, it's actually going back up to here and doing all of these steps together. So let's see what this program does. All right, done uploading. Okay. All right, let's see what we got here. That's pretty cool. So it did a forward, back, left, and a right turn. with the wheels and then stopped. I feel like I'm not explaining this as well as I could. You know what? I think I'm gonna try and work on my presentation a bit here, because I feel like I need more, a little bit more practice on how I'm going to present some of this information. So you know what? I'm gonna do another live stream tomorrow and see if I can go and improve this. So thank you guys for watching me. You know, I'm not a professional teacher, so this is not the easiest thing for me to do, or the most natural thing for me to do. But I think I'm gonna try again tomorrow. Oh, and I realized I also forgot to send out a message in Discord about this. Oh well, live and learn, right? Okay. Well, thank you everyone for watching, and hopefully I'll see you tomorrow.